Today we are going to be looking at counting money. Yesterday we explored different pieces of money, what it looked like and its value. So now we're going to move into counting that money that we looked at yesterday. So one way you may count money is by skip counting. So here, this is a dime. We know that a dime is worth 10 cents. So what we're going to need to do is add 10 and 10 and 10 and 10 and so on. So we can do that by simply doing repeated addition or skip counting, which you've been doing for years by counting by tens. Let's try that. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. All right, so here, I could also look at it in another way. I could look at this as 6 groups with 10 in each group. You're not literally seeing 10 items in each group, but you know that the value of it is 10. So another way to write this repeated addition equation here would be to write it as a multiplication problem. And as we just counted, it does equal to 60 cents. Okay? How much money do we have here? Okay, this one's a little easier because this time we're looking at pennies. We know that a penny is worth how much? 1 cent. A penny is worth 1 cent. So if I wrote that as an equation, again, it would be a repeated addition equation. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, or you could literally just count them by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another way we can do it is to write it as a multiplication sentence. We again have 6 groups with 1 in each group. 6 times 1, it does equal 6. So here we have a total of 6 cents. Let's look at one more of these with our repeated addition. What coin is this? This is a nickel. All right, and we know that a nickel is worth 5 cents. So again, let's start off with repeated addition. What would this equation look like? Take a minute and think. If you said 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, you are correct because each nickel is worth 5 cents. We could count by fives: 5, 10, 15, 20. We could write this as a multiplication equation. We have 4 groups, and each group is worth 5 cents. So 5 cent, 5 cent, 5 cent, 5 cent. That would be 4 groups of 5, which, as we counted earlier, does equal to 20. So these 4 nickels are equal to 20 cents. But as we are using this money in real life, it doesn't always go so easy. We don't always have all nickels or all dimes or all pennies. Sometimes when we get change back or we reach in our pocket to find out what we've got in our pocket, we might see something like this, where we have 2 dimes, 2 nickels, and 1 penny. We can't skip count this as easily. That doesn't mean it's hard to count. It just means we have to stop and think a little bit. So this time when we write our equation, we need to think about the value of this coin, the value of this coin, and this one. We know that a dime is worth 10 cents, a nickel is worth 5 cents, and a penny is worth 1 cent. So our equation this time will look a little more like this. 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 5 plus 1. We've got to add all that together. Well, I know that 5 and 5 make 10. So when I count this, I would say 10, 20, 30, 31. This is 31 cents, okay? So if you know that 5 and 5 make 10, go ahead and count those together because these are also counting by 10. It makes it a little bit easier for you. You could say 10, 20, 25, 30, 31. Either way is fine, whatever makes the most sense to you. Let's try one more. Okay, maybe this time I reached into my other pocket, and these were the coins that I had in my pocket this time. All right, I had a quarter, which is worth how much? 25 cents. I had 2 dimes, which is worth what? 10 cents each. I only had 1 nickel this time, which is worth 5 cents, and then I had 2 pennies, which are worth 1 cent. So my equation would look a little something like this. 25 plus 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1. You've got to take time to count all that up. If you wanted to go straight across, you could. 25 plus 10, 35. 35 plus 10 is 45. 45 and another 5 would be 5. I'm sorry. 45 and another 5 would be 50. 51, 52. Okay? Another way we could do that is, I know that if I put this 5 over here with the quarter, that would be 30 cents. 25 and 5 is 30, but I've got to remember I've already counted that. So 30, 40, 50, 51, 52. All right, so now your turn. You're going to go over and you're going to have a Google slide activity to do. It looks much like what we just did. Take notice that there are 5 slides. You're going to click in this blue box, and when you click in the blue box, you'll be able to type. Okay, so what I want you to do is type an equation to show me how you would count and tell me how much money was here. You can do an addition sentence, or you can make it into a multiplication sentence if it makes sense for repeated addition. When you get down here, it's going to be a little trickier as far as you can't do a repeated addition sentence for this entire thing. Okay, so take some time, figure out the value of each coin, type your equation there to show your thinking, and make sure you click the blue submit button.